If you exercise, if you work out, you're right wing. The media said that several years ago and everybody made fun of them for it. We have this story. Fat activist who thinks childhood obesity is a myth reveals how she feeds her kids dessert first after divorcing fitness freak husband who lost it when their daughter ate a stick of butter. Oh, man. Okay, this country is very fat, but it is like weirdly tied to the left. I don't get it, but it is. And I wonder if a big component of the culture war is short-term versus long-term thinking, first order thinking and things like that. So you have the left saying, eat what you want, feel good, do what feels good. And the right thinking like this will be bad for us in the long run. And then it is. So I got a segment for you that's pretty funny. Lizzo last year said that she was the beauty standard. And Phil Labonte had a great response to this. He just tweeted it actually today. You're beautiful, just like Lizzo, would be understood as an insult. Twould. It certainly would. Let me read this story for you. Daughter ate a stick of butter. Wow. Virginia Soul Smith, a fat activist, has sparked controversy for saying childhood obesity is not a problem. It is. Anti-fat bias is, and that she lets her children eat whatever they want, even against the wishes of her former husband, who caught his daughter eating a stick of butter. Oh, that reminds me. I've got to enter in my macros for the day. I did not put in my morning macros. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I ate. You ready? I got 1 scoop of protein powder from Jocko Mulk. So good. 1 bottle of Fairlife milk. A half cup of white rice flour. A tablespoon of butter. And 1 tablespoon of mixed berry preserves. That's my breakfast. Okay, wait. I put something in wrong. What did I put in wrong? What did I accidentally... Oh, I accidentally added an extra white rice flour. There we go. Nope, I accidentally added something else too. This is not right. You see, this is important to track your macros. Make sure you're getting it right. So, what do we have? Oh, okay, I accidentally put in an extra... How did I do that? There we go. 95 carbs, 22 fat, 51 protein for breakfast. I didn't used to eat breakfast for a long time. Now that I got a personal trainer, it changed everything. I gotta say 2 things. 1, when we saw like Michaela Peterson talks about eating only rack of lamb and how it improved her life, a lot of people were thinking this carnivore diet was the thing. Joe Rogan talked about it. You only eat meat. I think Michaela said this. I could be wrong. It's been a long time. The issue is not that it's a better diet. The issue is you've eliminated bad things from your diet. Here's what I found. So I was doing a low carb, high fat diet for like 2 years and I lost a ton of weight. The reality was I had started eating better foods, a lot less processed foods, and a lot of cream, a lot of meats, and that helped. Before this, it was kind of whatever. And it was a lot of hibachi. We like rice and meat, but the sugar sauce all over it. And I thought it was mostly fun. I was getting massive carbs, massive fat, and moderate protein, not enough. Going low carb allowed me to increase my protein, and that's what I was lacking. I got a personal trainer, and he said, increase your carb, decrease your fat, increase your protein. And now I feel better than ever. I think the issue is the keto diet was like a general improvement on my existing diet, but I think my current diet now, tracking macros and micronutrients, has been massively beneficial. So I think the issue with carbs is that Americans eat too many of them and don't realize just how much they're getting. It's nuts. Like 1 can of Coke is like 50, and people might have a handful of those per day. Yo, I have 223 carbs per day. It's I don't know. I would describe it as more than I've ever had, but it's not that much. That's what I got to say. Tracking this stuff changes everything. The reason I bring that up, the eating a stick of butter is insane. Now that I'm actually tracking, I'm like, wow, I was getting a lot of fat in my diet. I got to be honest. I felt good. I really did. I lost a lot of weight. I was skating really, really well, and I felt really, really good. I don't know that there was a dramatic need to change my diet, but going with a personal trainer, I'm going to go with what he says. And the personal training, I think, is what made the change. I'm assuming diet had an impact, But I'm going to stress this, like the low carb, high fat diet for me, I felt pretty good. And you guys can actually watch the videos where I shed a whole bunch of weight. I was skating a lot. I was feeling good. I feel really, really good now. I think the difference is I've added lifting. I think the lifting has dramatically changed things. I definitely needed that. Now, a tablespoon of butter. That is a lot of fat. And each stick of butter, I think, is like, 8 tablespoons? Daughter ate a stick of butter. I'd throw up. Putting a nice little thing of butter with the half cup of rice, it's basically 2 pancakes. 2 rice pancakes. And then I put a half tablespoon on each with jam. And I've been keeping fat pretty down. It's kind of crazy. The crazy thing is I had 2 scoops of spinach dip with some chips. And that's like 30 grams of fat. It's nuts trying to keep your macros, right? Anyway, she says, we don't parent body size. Soul Smith said in the Pressure Cooker podcast, how your child is eating and how much they move their body is really the smallest piece of the puzzle. When you focus on that with the goal of controlling your child's weight, you do a lot of harm. No. It's not okay to be overweight. It's not okay. Okay. So while Soul Smith's book is a New York Times bestseller, and many may turn to her for advice, others believe she's promoting a dangerous lifestyle. It's not okay to be overweight. Fact. It's not okay to eat excess sugar and animal fats. Fact. It's not okay to eat junk food. Fact. It's not okay to not move your body. It's not okay to advocate being overweight is all good, Carolyn Hailstone said on one of the Soul Smith's Instagram posts. What I'll pause and say for the animal fats first, not a doctor, so I really can't tell you. What I can tell you is when I cut out extra sugars, like the hibachi meals, we really were eating those like once a week. They put sugar sauce in it. So you got a big thing of rice and sugar on the meat. That's the excess sugars. I cut that out. Now it's like we order, even sushi rice has extra sugar in it. So last week, I'm like, just give me chicken satay with peanut sauce. There's a little bit extra sugar in there and just plain old white rice, and I'm happy. This is what really has helped improve things for me. Excess animal fats. I think if you're eating standard carbs, fat, if you're on a regular diet where you're eating carbs, fat, and protein, but you have too much fat, it's going to make you feel sick. I absolutely think so. Right now, I've noticed this. If I'm at my standard, my macro carb level which is the target, which is it's still a lighter carb. I think the app actually wants me to have like another 80 or something carbs. I don't do that. And my weight is like fairly stable. Body fat percentage is going down a little bit. Muscle mass is going up because it's not so much about losing weight for me, but about lifting and getting in better shape and all across the board. But if I do high fat now with the carbs, I feel like crap. When I was doing keto, I actually felt really, really good. And it may be because you have high fat in a glucogenic diet, glucose, and then the excess fat is just there. But hey, don't take it from me. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Eating a stick of butter. Being a healthy weight is okay. Having a good layer of body fat is healthy, but advocating unhealthy eating as you do will only drive diabetes up, hospital visits, and mortality rates up. Here's what I want to say to these fat activists. Phil Labonte says, you're beautiful just like Lizzo would be understood as an insult. Here's the story. Lizzo, I am the beauty standard. No, you're not. Lizzo declares herself the beauty standard in new post. The Grammy Award winner has always championed self-acceptance. I saw that post from Phil. You're beautiful, just like Lizzo. It reminded me of this comedy bit from Casey Shornima, however you pronounce her name. And I got to play it for you because this one, it fits perfectly. Let's play her bit.
I hooked up with a really hot guy recently. He's the kind of hot where he dates models, you know? And then after we hooked up, he goes, I just want to be careful how we go about this because you're not like the other women I date. You're like a real person. It's like men don't know where to end a sentence. Every guy I've dated will be like, you're the most beautiful woman in the world to me. It's like, who cares about your opinion, dude? I did like that line because it's such a fuckboy line, right? Like, you're so real, I'm just not ready for something real is fuckboy 101. Because every fuckboy acts like they're really deep and vulnerable, but some sort of gypsy curse has made them have meaningless sex for the rest of their lives. They all act like when they were 11, a big Scottish man with a beard came up to them and was like, you're a fuckboy, Harry. Now they have no choice, you know?
So I actually like this bit, despite the fact that I rag on female comedians for only ever talking about sex. But Casey Shornama also has this really great bit, which you will all enjoy, about homelessness and wokeness. And that was the first clip I saw from her, and it's really, really good. I'm not going to say it. You really should look up Casey Shornama homeless comedy because it's really, really funny. Basically, a guy she calls a guy homeless, and the guy's like, yo, you can't say that, it's unhoused. And she's like, I don't think marketing is their problem, dude. And then she goes on to say something else. Is really funny. I don't want to take the joke away from her. What I loved in that bit was when she was like, men don't know when to end a sentence. You are the most beautiful person in the world to me. Like, obviously not all men don't know how to end a sentence, but that's what I thought of when I saw this post from Phil. You're beautiful, just like Lizzo. How to turn a compliment into an insult. Not ending the sentence. I love it. This is where we're at. I want to point this out too, because it's actually fascinating. The correlation between body mass index and intelligence. Surprise, surprise. I don't have this actually pulled up, but there's this other thread that I was going through about signs of intelligence, which I find really interesting. And one of the coolest things they said is, if you ever encounter a person that is seemingly doing random things, but then it always seems to work out for them, they're a lot smarter than you. The issue is, you can't understand the pattern moves they're making. They can, and the pattern moves they're making are benefiting them in the long term. Isn't that crazy? But it's obvious, right? So, man, yeah, it's wild to think that there's someone out there and they're like balancing a rock on a bottle, and you're like, what the heck are they doing? And then they explain to you something about like the wind currents and all that, what they're planning. And then a week later, like a storm hits, lightning strikes the bottle, the rock launches straight up into the air, and then like hits a piece of the ground and gold shoots out. I'm just being silly, but you get the point. But there's a correlation between body mass index and IQ. And I think this is actually twofold, correlation and causation. I think that if you are not exercising and you are eating in excess and putting on a bunch of weight, it's going to drag down all of your systems. You're going to have a harder time running. You're going to have a harder time thinking. Thinking requires clean energy and glucose and all that stuff. And if you are not in shape, you're going to restrict yourself. Then there is people who are lower IQ not understanding the requirement to eat better, and that causes them to get bigger. So it is correlation and causation both at the same time. This is I don't know. I guess this is the last segment that will be in this studio. So I'm going to wrap things up. And, I just want to say to everybody who has been there the whole time, as we were here at the Cast Castle, thank you so much. So Timcast IRL is currently getting set up at the new studio. And this is my final morning show from here at the Cast Castle. So with that being said, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member at timcast.com. Get fit by November. Shout out to FitCast IRL in our Discord community. If you go to timcast.com, become a member, click join us. There are people who are working on getting in shape and getting fit. Because one thing I said is, I feel like I have an obligation, a responsibility to be the best version of myself I can be. If y'all are supporting me, watching my show, commenting, becoming a member, and that money affords me the ability to build the things we're building, I have an obligation to you to at least be the best version I could possibly be. In exchange for your $10 a month at timcast.com, you can watch the Uncensored Show. You can join the Timcast Discord server and hang out with like-minded individuals. And then what else am I doing? Got a personal trainer. We're going to get in shape. And I'm going to encourage all of you to do the same thing. But that's about it. We'll be wrapping up. The next segment will be over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out. It'll be at 8 p.m. And we'll see you all then.